G'day, Ben from Duck Playing Chicken here with the second video in this build series of the Tron Astro Boy DX edition, which is a model kit of Astro Boy or Mighty Atom, along with what they call experimental bed. So you can see it here on the instructions here. This is what we're going to build in this video. In the previous video, of course, I built the figure, so that's all ready to go to be displayed on the experimental bed once that's built. Alright, the parts for the experimental bed come in box B, so this is a massive box. So let's open this up and have a look at it. Okay, just like box A, this is full of plastic. There is a lot of stuff in here, so let me get this all unwrapped and we can quickly go through the sprues. You get some serious chunks of plastic in this particular part of the kit. So this is the base here, and this is sort of over 35 centimeters long, so it's can be quite sizable. It's probably a bit hard to tell on camera, but it's like almost a brown, very dark grey. It's not quite black. It's I guess very dark brown. And we've got another big chunky piece in the same colour. So I assume this all makes up the base of the bed itself. So while we're still on that colour sprue, we get this sprue here, and this piece has broken off. Again, I mentioned this with the figure part of the kit, that the sprue gates are really small, so just be aware when you're pulling sprues out of bags that some pieces may have come loose. Not a bad thing. Small gates are always a really good thing, in my opinion. Get some sort of panels. And I'm not sure if this came loose, but it was sort of sitting separate in the bag. Looks like part of the control panel. And other bits and pieces. So you can see there's sort of some surface detail in there, certainly some panel lines if you want to paint it up and maybe weather it a little bit. Then we have some sprues in black, and so again, these are really hefty pieces of plastic. Chunky, and it really does amaze me the size of the sprue gates for the amount of plastic they manage to get into these pieces. Really quite amazing technology they're using. You get this panel, which looks like some sort of lid. This, which looks like, I don't know, maybe another part of the base. I assume the lid section that I just showed goes in there somewhere. And then this big hefty piece. So it's all big chunks of plastic. Still on the black sprues. You get two very similar looking pieces there on those sprues. And then we've got a slightly different, this is a grey and sort of a slightly lighter colour grey. So again, lots of sort of detail parts there. And then similar to the figure, we get these parts which are almost like a metallic grey, like a gunmetal sort of colour. So I expect these for all the arms that you make that put Astro Boy together or fix him up. So you get two of these sprues. You get two of these red sprues. So this red looks different to the red that was on the figure. It's not as sort of bright, so I guess they did that to have some differentiation between the experimental bed and the figure. Do get some metallic pieces, so these are, I don't know if they're plated or sprayed. I think previously for the figure I said they were plated, but they may actually be sprayed on, I'm not sure, but it is a coating, so just be very careful with these parts that you don't sort of scratch them and scratch the metallic surface off them. You get some silver parts, and again they're coated or painted. You get these two large silver pieces as well. The silver's really nice. It's not a super shiny, it's not like a chrome, it's kind of got a bit of a matte effect on it, or semi-gloss, so it's really nice. You get one yellow sprue, which looks like it comes with the warning markings. I like this sort of stuff where they actually do separate pieces as opposed to trying to have to mask this, these symbols out. That's really cool. You get a number of sort of small clear, so it's clear turquoise, a couple of pipes or something, clear yellow, and then a clear light blue. You get these two large clear green pieces, and I suspect this is the sort of bed that, or the surface, makes up part of the surface that Astro Boy lies on, because there's a very specific sort of cut out there for his head. So those two. Now we get this bit of cardboard with this sort of like printed circuit board look on it, and so obviously that makes up part of the bed. It does have these pre-punched holes here, which I'm sure I'll have to punch out and fold this all together, but that's a cardboard insert. Now you do get a number of stickers, so these look reasonably thick, but they look certainly well printed. You get a few bags of screws. Now I had to tape up one of the bags, because one of the bags had sort of, I don't know, I don't think it was sealed properly, but these two screws were floating around the bottom of the box, so just be really be careful of that, or floating in the bag I should say. So I've just sort of temporarily sealed that up so I don't lose those. You get a number of leads and a battery box, because this experimental bed does light up. And here are the electronics for lighting it up, and they include probably a really rubbish little screwdriver, but we'll see how that goes. We'll try it out just to you know, put it through its paces. But yeah, you get a number of sort of printed circuit boards that obviously will light up. There's a number of LEDs on those. So that's it as far as the contents of the box. Lots of big bits of plastic. Next step is for me to go through and cut out all these pieces and clean them up. Let's make a start on this behemoth. Okay, so we've got MP, and some of the bigger pieces do actually have the part number actually on them. So the way this works is goes like that. Feed it underneath here, and then it should clip into the hinge there, and then that should clip in place. These bits on the side here lock in the hinge. Okay, you have to give them a good push down on the pegs. Battery door seems to be working okay. Okay, so that's on now. Just make sure you press down really tight on those to secure it in place. Then we take these two pieces and we just join together like so. I don't think I need to trim the pegs. They seem to go together okay. And we have this top piece. Okay, so that sort of holds the two pieces together, which is nice. Okay, then we take this piece here with the electricity symbol on it, turn it over, take this yellow piece and make sure the stripes line up. That is brilliant. Love that. Look at that. No masking. If you wanted to paint it, you just paint that yellow piece and then slide it in, and you get those perfect lines. Great. And you've got the electricity symbol. It just plugs in there. And we've got two little silver handles. Now, unfortunately, one of the sprue gates is on the top here, so you might want to touch that up just with a bit of with a silver pen or something. Goes in like so. And then this whole assembly bolts onto here, which is nice because it covers up that really massive seam, and then all of that goes on here, fits in like that. So there we have the end of the base. Okay, next we're detailing up this part. We've got the radioactive symbol. We just need to make sure the pegs align properly. Again, it's really nice, you don't have to mask that if you were to paint it. We've got 2 more of these silver handles. Just plug in. Now everything appears to be a solid fit so far, like no need for glue or anything like that. Just all press fits really nicely. Again, these little handles, they've got little marks on the top here where the sprue gates were. Bit unfortunate placing of them, but nothing that a silver pen won't sort of clean up. Okay, then we have this piece here, and maybe you can see the sort of difference between the colours. You know, this handle thing's, those hinge things black, and this one's a bit of a sort of browny grey colour. Okay, so first we take this gold piece and slot that in like so, and then we feed that through the back of this. Okay, all the way, and so we've got that little lever there. Okay, we take these assemblies we just made and they go on each of the sides. So you want to make sure we've got it up the right way. They press in quite nicely. And there's a couple of stickers obviously that'll go on here. This goes on the other side. This switch, not going to do anything, it's just there to look good. And then the radioactive symbol on the other side. Okay, next it looks like we're starting on the electronics. So we've got this big base section here, which is listed as ME. So it has that on the bottom. And then we have the battery box. We need to just make sure the wires are sort of coming out of those gaps there, that they're not going to get crimped when we put this, screw it onto the base. And we use 2 of the black screws, and I'm going to use the world's dodgiest little screwdriver. Let's see how well it works. Look, it kind of works, but yeah, it's not very comfortable to use, that's for sure. It's got this tiny little handle. So I'm going to get a real screwdriver. Sorry, I'll give it a try. It will work, it's just not great. Okay, got myself a real screwdriver. Now before I tighten that other one up, I want to get the other one in place. And the next step is to feed this cable through this hole here. Okay, next we take what they call the light reflector, and we need to bend these sides up. Now off camera I poked all the holes out. They're just pre-cut. I'm not too fussed about getting the angle right because it's going to be all held in place once we put it into the base here. Okay, now we need to feed this wire through here first, and then we've got all these locating pegs, and we just sort of push it down in place. Okay, next we take this piece MT, and it does have MT on the bottom there. It's the one with the Astro Boy head cut out, and we turn it the way so the spike's sort of poking up. And then we have these little circuit boards, and they do have numbers on them, so you can see, if it'll focus, that's 5. It's just got the version number after it, but that's 5. We've got 4, and we've got 3. So these, let's see, we place them, and they do have sort of these locator holes. So place one there, and just making sure the screw hole matches up as well. So that's 5, 4, and then we have 3 goes this way, and then we take some of the silver screws and just put one screw in each of those. Okay, you don't need to screw them down super tight, because that could potentially crack the PCB just enough so it's not sort of, you know, rattling around in there. There we go. I'll go ahead and do the rest of these off camera. Okay, the circuit boards are now in place, they're not rattling around. So you really can't go wrong with the guides and everything they put in. It's you know, seems again really well engineered how they've done the lighting on this. Okay, next we take MU, which is the other green piece. Make sure the round protruding bits are facing up, and we have 2 little nubs here. That there's these 2 clear yellow pieces. One is shorter, which goes there, and then one is a long one that goes on like that. And then we can flip it over and slide this grey piece in place over the top. Like so. Okay, we take the circuit board labelled 2 and we put that like so. Then we take this one, which has a Chinese writing label on it. It doesn't actually have a number, but it's the only one that doesn't, but that fits over these 2 lugs here. And then we have this one, number 1, goes in here. Okay, then we take some of our silver screws and screw them all in place. So I'll do that off camera. Okay, they're all screwed in place. Just a word of advice to the screws, they are self-tapping screws. So if you feel them getting a bit tight, you can just wind back, you know, reverse it off a little bit and then go back in again. The screws, they aren't the best of quality, but you know, they will do the job, so that's all held in place. The next step is for these 2 to join together. Let's see how that works. Looks like it's just these 2 pieces, something like so. It doesn't feel particularly stable, but I'm assuming that once we sort of get it mounted on the rest of the bed plate, it'll be okay. Alright, we get a number of these connectors here, and it's important to note that you get 3 short ones that are red and black, you get a long one that's red and black, and you get one that is red, black and yellow. And so the instructions do call out specifically where each of those connectors go. So to start off, I'm going to get this one connected first. Now it looks like there's a on mine anyway. Now it looks like on mine there's a cover on this socket here, so I'm just going to take that off and then make sure they're properly seated. Never pull on the wires, always pull on the actual plug itself. Okay, if I hold that up you can see which way that goes. The plugs will only fit nicely one way, so just keep that in mind, don't sort of force them. And I'm assuming this one is the one that joins up with the battery box, because it looks like it's the only one that's not connected at this stage. So we've got the long one which goes So assume we go around this block. And the instructions, they just sort of say go over it, but I don't know if it's going to get caught on anything. Okay, and that joins up there, and then we've got these two here which join up, so I'll just quickly do that off camera. All those wires are all now connected up. Now, as I suspected, we take our battery box when we wired up before, and we've got to try and get this plugged in to this one, which is going to be a bit tricky to show on camera. Okay, I think that's in. Okay. Houston, we have a problem. All the paper's coming out. Alright, now we should be able to join all this up together. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's all in place. These bottom wires here, they do go under this block bit, but I don't think they're under a lot of pressure by the look of it. So they're just sort of seated fine. I don't think it'll cause any issues. Okay, next we take these little bits, so little round cylinder pieces, and they slot in on the sides. Okay, then we take a couple of these silver pieces, and they match up on here. It looks like they're just going to sort of show sections of the clear green. Okay, and we take this piece, make sure I've got it around the right way. Okay, it takes a little bit of finagling, but it's in now. Okay, we have these grey parts. So we go on the side here. I'm hoping the silver coating is reasonably hardy, because we're going to be lying the figure on it. Okay, then we have this bottom piece down here. Alright, we've got this header piece that goes around the top. Okay, it's kind of nice. You get, like, you're going to have the green light effect around the edges too, by the looks of it. Okay, just a little bit tricky to get on. It's just about sort of lining up those pegs. You have to flex the plastic a little bit. Let's see what's next. We've got the bottom bit. Alright, I think we're on, hopefully. Okay. Alright. Next we have this part. And we have a couple of hoses that go through. They feel very loose. What is that? So it's the long end that's supposed to go through, and then this bit goes in the back. Assume that light pipes are supposed to go all the way through, the green, clear green pipes. Yeah, they push all the way through. That goes the end here. Just kind of gets to the stage where you feel as though you're flexing the plastic to the point where it'll snap, you know, so just be careful with it. That's see, so his feet will probably plug into that. Okay, we're adding some detail parts, so it's a clear yellow piece. That goes to here. And then there's the clear blue piece. And we have this grey, looks like a lunchbox. So it goes over here. It's on like that. And then we have a grey cover piece for this end part here. It just fits up the side like so. Now that's pretty much it for the actual bed, I think, before we sort of get into the assembly of the tilt action and all that sort of thing. But one thing I should have done was check the lighting before I put all this stuff on, so I'm kind of hoping it works. I jumped ahead in the instructions and it does use the magnet to activate it. So I've used 3 AA batteries, and the area they sort of show in the instructions to activate the switch is in this lower left hand corner. So I'm going to take the same magnet that I got from the figure and just put it over there. You can see it lights up. And it actually has a couple of different modes. So at the moment it's just solid. So see how well it sort of lights up. Does light up around the sides, which is nice. We get light up of those. Doesn't really look yellow, it looks more green. But do get some nice light effects. Now if I hit it again with the magnet, you see these 2 lights start flashing and the blue light pulses. So you can sort of see that pulsing there. That's really cool. If you hit it again, oops, I know there's like 3 modes. There's where it's on solid, one where it's sort of flashing like that, and there's another one where it actually flashes quicker. There we go. So you can see those lights flashing and the light is pulsating a lot quicker on the inside there. That's really cool. I didn't realise there was sort of that level of different effects that came with this. So even though the lighting's kind of pretty subtle, they've really thought about it. And again, like I said with the figure, the lighting that they've done with the magnetic switches is just fantastic. The fact there's no sort of external switch or anything, it's a really neat and tidy way of doing it. Okay, next we've got some more components for the hinge system of the experimental bed. So we've got this part and this part, and you have to make sure that the tooth where the cog is, that's at one end, and that corresponds with this section that has teeth in it. So we join that together, and then we take these 2 halves by the look of it. Let's go with this one, and we put that in there. We have this gold piece that sits in here. So I'll put that first. And then we sandwich it all together. Alright, and we have little end caps that go over here, which is a nice little detail. Too bad if I ever need to get those out again, because they ain't coming out again. Ah, that's interesting. So this mechanism here, I was thinking, that feels really loose, what's going on there? And I was wondering how this was going to tilt. So it's got this really cool system where you push the button in, and that frees up the teeth inside, the internal stuff, and then you sort of get it to where you want it, and then you push it back in, and that locks it. So that's kind of a really nice, nice elegant solution that is, because this is going to be taking a bit of weight, so it's good they've got a system that locks in positively like that. Okay, we have this here, which locks in and helps keep everything together. And we have these two little bits and this silver joint. I guess not joint, is it? It's like a couple of pistons. Like so. And then that goes into the gold one here. Tilt that on an angle. And grab this big bad boy, which is MF. And we, okay, so we need to lock this into place this way, by the look of it. Yeah, click, click. Alright, so that's not sort of really going anywhere, but if I push the button in, I can then tilt it back. So that's nice little detail, that piston detail, and then when you're happy with the angle, you push the button back in, and it's good to go. Okay, let's start on all the bits and pieces that hang off the experimental bed, so all the arms and gizmos that clamp onto the side. So we start off with these two gold parts here, and we build two of these. So just squeeze those two halves together. You might want to trim the pegs a little bit just to get them a bit closer. And then we have this silver piece that goes over the top, and that's a tight fit that I'm never going to be able to get off again. Then we have these two bits here. So just want to make sure it's facing the right way. And we have this insert. And we clamp that in like so. Okay, so I've just flipped the gold part around because I got it around the wrong way. So now we have one pointing out each end like that. Alright, the next thing we're doing is making the number of these arms, and there's 4 of these you have to build. Well, technically there's 5, but you do 4 using the same parts. And then there's one where you use slightly different grey parts. So it's basically the same assembly, it's just slightly different grey parts on it. Okay, so we put that on there. So we clamp that all together. So that's sort of a nice detail with this silver handle piece. Then we have these two pieces here, and that goes like so. Okay, so we have that one there. We also have another one where you can see that the grey pieces are sort of a slightly different colour. So let's put that one together quickly. Okay, and then that pops in there like so. So yeah, you can see they're essentially the same thing, they're just slightly different colours. So this one I've got to put aside because it's got a unique device on the end of it, whereas the other 4 have kind of got very similar things. Okay, next we make a couple of these laser beams or whatever, but I guess they're some sort of maintenance tool. So we have this hinge part, goes on here, and then these 2 red bits clamp together. Okay, and then we have this triangular bit, and you need to make sure that the bit with the sort of screw head on the end of it, sort of pointing forward. And then on the back side we have gold piece goes on like so, and then we clamp this together. So you've got, you know, a nice range of sort of articulation there. And then we take this red collar piece, and this sort of loosely fits on here, but once we get this grey piece in, it sort of, you know, it will obviously swivel, but it'll be quite tight. So we do 2 of those, and then we clamp it onto the end of this assembly we just made. So we have the full sort of arm assembly, and we have 2 of those. Okay, next we make 2 of these, and this is sort of like another separate tool that gets put on the end of an arm. So these red pieces, 2 halves go together with the grey insert. We then have these pieces. So cap on it, and this gold piece on the end. No idea what that's supposed to be, but it's all, you know, kind of retro cool sci-fi. And then we have this piece to allow it to rotate. Okay, squeeze that together. And again, this goes on the end of one of these arms. So we have 2 of these. Okay, and finally we have one of these pieces, one of these, I guess, contraptions. Just make sure I get this around the right way. This grey insert goes like so. This gets sandwiched on top. And then this goes on here. And finally we have this little gold detail piece go on here. And then this one goes on the arm that's a slightly different grey colour, so you've got the same consistent grey all the way through. So if we compare it to the other one, it is very different grey. Okay, now time to start putting all this together. So we've got the hinge mechanism part here, and we turn this upside down. You can see a slot here that slides onto this end piece. Like so. And it should go all the way down so it actually sits on the top of that other piece there. Okay, it's a nice sturdy base. It's certainly not going anywhere in a hurry. Now, I thought this thing under here was going to be a battery compartment, and I was very wrong. So this is, if I can open it up, I guess this is for holding all the, I don't know, extra body pieces or something. It's like just a storage container, which is kind of cool. Because of course the battery sit underneath the bed bit, like so. And we need to get this around the right way. Turn this around so it matches what I've got in the instructions. And we have the feet up this end. Okay, it's a little bit tricky just lining up the bed base on where it's supposed to go, but you can see that's how it sort of looks. I'm just going to try the tilting mechanism. Alright, it is a little bit wobbly. You probably don't want to be sort of putting any real pressure on it, but it'll be fine for holding the figure. Alright, so these two little pieces here, they each snap on each of the sides. Okay, like so. Now, I don't think it really matters which one of these goes where. Like, they all have these plugs that are all going to fit into the side ones. So they make a recommendation instructions that you kind of stagger it a little bit. So if we put this one with the little horn thing on it, and then on here we put this one. Okay, and then on the other side you can sort of reverse them around. Of course, we'll take these bits like so, plug them in. It's a bit hard to sort of show it all in one shot. I'm sorry, sort of my desk is really set up for smaller model kits. And then we have this individual piece which goes up the end. Okay. And I'm just going to grab the figure and see how he looks in place. Alright, so here he is in all his glory. One thing I'm yet to do is put the stickers on, so I'll do that off camera, and then you'll see the stickers in the beauty shots. I am a bit concerned about some of these stickers. They have clear, there's sort of white text on clear background, so I don't think that'll work particularly well, but we'll see how we go. But just a few thoughts on this kit. The bed goes together really well. It is just the lighting system on it is great. I love the fact that, the magnet works for basically everything. So just turn all the lights on. So that's, that's really cool. Yeah, so I definitely recommend this kit to anyone who's a fan of Astro Boy. It's a lot of fun to put together, really well engineered. I think it's actually a really good value kit for what I paid for it. So, it's such an impressive sort of size that it's going to have a lot of shelf presence. Of course, you are going to need room to store it somewhere. It's going to take up a bit of shelf space. But, yep, so on to the beauty shots, and until next build series, I'll catch you later.